You know how we have this thing called illness? Sometimes it affects people. Uh, the only reason we have those is to bump us back into line, so God can have His perfect system. In this simulation, everything's working according to His will. He's getting all the glory. We understand as human beings that He's reading every single thought in our minds. He knows we screw up, and when we do, we just admit it by making a permanent record of it, like by filming a video like I am now, and then just putting it online, not to humiliate us, but to show that, yes, sorry God, I did think that. I did think about sleeping with that attractive woman who walked by, or I did think about killing myself, or I did steal money, or whatever it is. And He's like, oh, okay, He still understands the system. No illness for Him, as long as He doesn't have any more infractions. If He does, all He has to do is just admit it again and just keep doing that over and over again. And you just continually sort of wash any sins you have away. Now, what that also does is it shows, for us in 2019, where we're all at now, because we're not in God's perfect system, where everything's working, according to His will, without any illness or violence, natural disasters, shit like that. We have to deal with all those things because we're not in that sort of frame of mind. Anyway, the cool thing is, because we aren't, when any individual out there, wherever you're at now is not your perfect heaven on earth. You're not in your perfect spot. Even if you think you are, I'm not knocking where you're at. You may be very close, but to really get to that perfect, place designed just for you, your own little mansion in heaven, you have to take steps to get there, right? You don't just get sucked into the sky and then shot into your perfect heaven. What happens is you show all the reasons that you're flawed. You admit anything you've ever done or thought about doing wrong publicly, right? Just, online. And that's like the starting place of your story. And then it's about you taking the steps, that he leads you on a path or on a journey in very rapid pace, unlike anything you've ever experienced before, by dropping these coincidences in your lap that help guide you from wherever you're at now to your perfect spot on earth. And that journey is a cool story that He wants credit for. Not that obviously you're the one who's doing, or, taking the steps, and you're feeling better and better as you get closer and closer to your perfect, mansion or whatever. I use that term figuratively. Your perfect place it may be, it's a frame of mind. It's like, I came out on the other end of this journey, and I feel better than I ever have. I don't get sick. I understand God is, monitoring everything in my life, including my innermost thoughts, every single one of them. And, that journey that you take, when you record it like I am now, and you keep posting it, to whatever, it doesn't have to be, you're not showing it to the world. I mean, in a sense, anyone can see it, but really you're going to have one person who just watches your videos to kind of see your journey, and they're going to be like, oh, that's really cool. And hopefully, as on their end, they're doing the same thing. You're kind of like a buddy system. And anyway, at a certain point, the story, it's going to take a direction that you never would have thought, but you realize as it's happening, this is the perfect place for me to be, or for me to be going. And you keep adjusting, you keep, admitting to any times you stumble. And what happens is, when He deems your story worthy to be sort of compiled and shown to the world, because it's not it is your story, but it's His story. He's the one writing the screenplay, if you will. He's going to show you His face. And by face, it was described in the 1st century AD as a twinkling of an eye. It was described in 1300 BC as a bush that burned without burning. And in 2019, it's described as when your vision pixelates. proving simulation theory. And the reason only Moses, experienced that but hid his face from it, and in 2018 on March 13th, of last year, I saw his face and I recorded the experience. The reason that only 2 people have ever done this is because it goes against, I guess, dropping everything, admitting everything you've done wrong, and then taking a journey of just following coincidences, almost like a child. It goes against every man-made system we've created. In the Bible, it's called Babylon in the book of Revelation. And what it's doing is it's us, or it's you individually dropping what isn't working and replacing it with a divine system of leadership. And it's not me leading, being your ruler. It's not anyone else. It's you not listening to any human being. You're only listening to God. And you don't know where he's going to take you, but it's all about adjusting. And when he shows you his face, when your vision pixelates, it will be so overwhelming. It's terrifying when it happens, but it only lasts 90 seconds. You'll be so used to recording that you'll pull out your phone, because it'll happen in 2 waves. The first wave only lasts like 15 seconds, and then the big wave happens. But that first 15 seconds, you pull out your phone, you record, and then bam, it'll hit you with the second one. You drop to your knees. You'll understand the full power of God. You'll see him. You're seeing a spirit, basically. Something, how would a spirit look? Well, it pixelate your vision. So you're still seeing light come through. Whatever's in the background, you still see, but it's pixelated. You realize he's everywhere in your vision. He's everywhere in your mind and your body all at one time. He's like, here's my full power. I'm everywhere. I'm omniscient because I was reading your mind. I did it at a specific thought, that you happen to have. You didn't know this was going to happen. You're going about your day. You're on your journey. You think, oh, that's it. Bam. And then he'll pixelate your vision. So he proves he's omniscient. He proves he's omnipotent because your body's going to react, like your vision changes and all that stuff. And then he proves that he's omnipresent because it happens everywhere. And it's so terrifying. It's like, oh my God, he was here the whole time. Yeah. Why didn't I see him before? Well, because I wasn't on a story. I wasn't pursuing a story powered by him. And I know it sounds wild, but when you get into it, you're going to start to feel, basically it's called like resurrecting the dead. What that means is you're going from being, doesn't matter how good you feel right now, although some people will probably be pretty close to this. All they have to do is confess publicly, and I think they'll probably see God's face like within a week or 2. But other people are going to be very far away, and it's no big deal how far away from seeing his face you are. It is what it is. But you'll feel better and better, and then bam, he shows you his face, and then you'll be changed forever. You'll say, oh my God, he's there. He's been here the whole time, and it's incredible. And then after that, it's about just stabilize. You don't have to preach to the world and tell them. Don't worry about that. Take all the video footage, get each video that you have, and just, let's say it's a 5-minute video. Let's say you only want a minute clip of it. Mark a minute and 5 seconds to 2 minutes and 13 seconds. That's the clip that you want, from the first video. And then from the second video, I want this portion of the video. And you just mark it all out because you know your story better than anyone else. And then just email it to me, and I'll package it up according to that, and we'll make it into a movie that we can show to the world, and it'll be your book of the Bible, right? That is, that it's a video journey of, you resurrecting someone, resurrecting yourself from the dead. But what's cool is all the people who have died in the past. There have been like 100 billion people who've lived on Earth and have died. Those that are, worthy, like prophets from the past and like the righteous folk or whatever, they didn't have an opportunity to do this. And what happens is when you see God's face, you'll be assigned a name. You'll just know it. Mine's the Lion. It's a new name. My real name is James, but I know after experiencing it, I'm the Lion. You'll be, whatever, name you're assigned. And what's cool is, only you'll know that name. And when you send me all the footage and I see it, and I make the judgment call. I'm like, yeah, this is a story that God told, not this person. This person's just reporting events that happened in their life, in their life. You know, great. And once I prove it, then we'll package it up. We'll give it away to the world for free, and they can see God in action. And that's it. Our entire reality, the world, the universe, it was all created for God's pleasure. That's in Revelation. And since we're made in His image, if it's created for His pleasure, it may not seem like this to you now, but it's also made for our pleasure too. And when you're on that journey, it's going to show you both He will be pleased and you will be pleased, because you'll feel alive for the first time in your life, and then He'll get the glory that He deserves. And that's it. You know, other people from the past have gone through an experience similar to this. I don't know if they saw His face. I think they saw like angels or visions, stuff like that. But prophets include like Muhammad, Moses, Daniel, Isaiah, all those names. They got to go through these journeys too. And how did they record it? Well, they didn't have camera phones. What they used was pen and paper, ink, and they wrote it down basically. And that's the difference, is that they recorded their experience and gave God a platform. Thus, God hooked them up and gave them a cool journey, which changed the world in their cases. And that's what will happen with you. Those folks, they're no different than you are. It's just they devoted all their time and energy to creating their own story, which was powered directly by God. So there you go. Just wanted to chime in with that. Hope you have a nice day. Oh yeah, by the way, we're looking at stuff like India and Pakistan have a territory issue now, where India, basically took away the autonomy of a province or an area called Kashmir, which has been disputed for a while, but they just decided to revoke any special autonomy. They shut down telecommunications, they basically shut down the internet and phones to make sure there was no uprising. Imagine if that happened wherever you happen to be living. That happened last night, today. There was those shootings that happened on Saturday. China devalued its currency, or it's been reported that they're devaluing their currency, and then we're basically escalating the trade war. That's Monday's sort of news. You got earthquakes, water crises, Ebola spread to a second country. All of these are the beginning of the woes. And I'm telling you, because other prophets from the past have talked about this time in history. Daniel, for example, said in chapter 9 of his book that the end will come as a flood. And we're in the hour, day, month, and year period from June 19th of 2019, when it began, when the U.S. and Iran militaries made first contact, through July 20th of next year, when we end the financial system and broke our global peace deal. We're in that period of woes. And the end, according to Daniel, will come as a flood. So it's just going to get worse and worse and worse until the only solution, which is what I just described to you, you going on your own journey, dropping everything you're doing and spending all your time working on your own book of the Bible, to ultimately see God's face, until that idea becomes so attractive that you say, you know what, I'm all in, let's go for it. And that's what God wants. He wants people who are all in. You're not submitting to me, to any other human being. You're submitting to God. You're saying, you know what, God, my faith says that I am taking, or that you are monitoring my decision, my conscious decision to drop what I'm doing and follow your lead via, you're basically using Jesus as a template and saying, I'm going to be charitable, and all my thoughts are on God, and I'm following any coincidence, whatever it is, sacrificing what I have to sacrifice, and documenting the journey that you take. And I'm telling you, when you see his face, it'll all make sense. And until then, it's just a mix of the faith you have in God and then the circumstances in the world around you. And I'm telling you, it's only going to get worse by the day. This thing's happening in real time. So anyway, hope you guys are well. Have a nice evening.